Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you out there in live stream land. I am trying out a different time slot to see if it works better for everyone. I'm also in the process of trying to get a job, so I wanted to bump the live streams a little later in the day in preparation for that. So today we are going to be doing the water signs. That's going to be Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Hi, Super Queen Bee. How are you today? Thank you for coming. I'm going to use this Florida water. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. To cleanse the space. Cleanse the space, cleanse the space. Oh, yes, it's good to be back. I needed to take a break to take care of some things, and I think moving my time slot a little later in the day might help with some of that as well. But it's good to see you again. Hi, Jason. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. The tarot cards that I'm going to be using today. Oh, good, good. I think it's going to be a lot better for me, too. Sometimes I get a little sleepy after I do the readings. These are the cards I'll be using this week. They are plastic PVC tarot cards. And I like the noises that they make. So first we're going to start with the sign of Cancer. And I think I'm going to continue with the type of reading I was doing, where I draw 5 cards and I read those, and then we do a little bit like a guided meditation to transmute that energy. Hi Maria, thank you for coming. And I will of course be going after this to do the crystal scrying on the members side of the channel, and I'm going to be using this really beautiful piece of bloodstone. It just has a few little flecks of that red color. So Cancer, go ahead and start. Oh, I understand. I understand. Go ahead and set your intention for the reading. Allow any thoughts that you'd like to have cleared up to rise up to the forefront of your thoughts, and just wait there gently. And if these are things that cause you stress, Cancer, just take some deep but very gentle breaths. Inhale and draw in the divine white light of Source, and then exhale. And just release any of that tension or anxiety, any negative energies that you would like to let go of. All right, so let me write down your timestamp. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Listen to the great sounds these cards make. So, Cancer, this card would be in the past for you. But we do have it appearing in the upright. So this is going to be a skill with which you have a lot of experience. It could be some kind of long-term employment situation. This would be somewhere that you had been either employed for quite some time, or it would be a field in which you had a lot of experience. And this card showing up in the upright shows me that you are probably still employed at this particular job or in this particular field. Again, it could be that you work for another company. You could also work for yourself. The Eight of Pentacles can also be about 8 streams of passive income. It can be the maturation of a investment account, such that you're now able to pull that money out for your retirement. That's possible too. But we have this card in the upright and in the past. So while it is still affecting current events, this would be something that had occurred before. This card is also somewhat past energy for you, Cancer. And we see that it is showing up in the reverse. So this could indicate a lack of patience, a lack of practice. But this card could also show that you had to have a lot of patience in the past in order to reach this point. The Temperance card, we do have this archangel here wearing the triangle of fire on their chest. And they have one foot out of the water, one foot in the water. This is Sagittarius's card, Cancer. So maybe you also have Sagittarius in your chart. You can see that these cups are not directly one under the other, but that the water is being almost dumped at an angle from one cup into the other, which requires a lot of practice and skill to execute properly. So this practice might have put you in this position. Or you might have decided that even though your financial situation was very good, that there was still more that needed to be done to ensure the outcome that you wanted. That is also possible. The current situation for you, Cancer. We have the Tower card, and it's showing up in the reverse. So there could have been some disaster, some ruin, Cancer, that was narrowly averted by you in the current situation. And because this is occurring in the current situation, you might still be uncertain of the outcome. I do see this more as a crisis averted than as the tower destruction crashing down upon you. But it is difficult when one is so close to a fire to determine what is being consumed. Cancer, here in the future, we have this Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a partnership. Now, nothing on this card explicitly speaks to romance. Both of these figures, though they are dressed quite differently, are fairly non-binary in their presentation. It doesn't look like one or the other of them are a specific gender. So this could be a love relationship. It could be a partnership. And in fact, we have the two intertwined snakes here, which would be similar to the staff of Hermes or Mercury. We have the lion, one of the fixed signs, atop that. Now, the lion is, Leo is associated with the fifth house traits of creativity and one's passions. So here we kind of have a crossover between water sign, emotional energies, and that fire sign, the passions coming in. We have that wand coming down between the two cups. So that could be the passions that come out in a relationship, but it could also be a creative project and passions relating to what one wants to do long term, because we do have this coming out. This speaks to a certain level of stability within oneself. So for some of you, this is going to be about your small business or your medium-sized business or your large business. This Two of Cups does reckon one of your more favorable traits as well, Cancer, which is the ability to read and reciprocate the emotions of another person. So there is a lot of good Cancerian energy wrapped up in this card as well. Now, the final card that I have here in your reading, Cancer, is the Page of Wands. This card is reversed, and it is in the more distant future. And what we have here is somebody probably quite young. They may have lost their passion for life, or this could be somebody that you have not yet met. Either of those things could be true, because this could be a fire sign person who's much younger than you that you have not yet met, but will be meeting in the future. There's a certain amount of lack of seriousness with the Page of Wands. And if you look, what the page is wearing on this card is actually quite similar to what this figure is wearing here on the Two of Cups, right? So sometimes the Page of Wands can come out in the reverse in a reading, especially in regards to partnerships. As somebody who is not as serious about this particular partnership as the other person. And while this very well could be a romantic relationship, we do have this Eight of Pentacles coming out here. We also have the idea, this is a very strong message coming through with the Major Arcana. The idea that haste makes waste. We have Temperance in the reverse here, and we have the Tower card. This is Mars energy, and so could be associated with the fire sign of Aries or your fellow water sign of Scorpio. And that also would be a fixed energy, like what we see here with the Lion showing up on the Two of Chalices. Now, as I mentioned, this Tower card might be a crisis averted. It might have been a very close call and something that really snapped you to where the Temperance card is concerned. So that would be something you would be bringing into your future relationship. You might understand at this time that you are ready for that kind of partnership. Whether we're speaking to a business partnership, a business alliance, or to a romantic partnership. And this might be somebody who is quite a bit younger than you that you haven't met yet, coming in to fulfill these requirements. But as I mentioned, sometimes the Page of Wands showing up in the reverse, this could be that you haven't met them yet, but it could also be that you really need to be careful about vetting your partner, whoever you bring into this situation, because that Page of Wands reversed can also be somebody who just is not very serious about situations. And I feel like from the cards that are showing up here, that's something that you have already worked through, Cancer, and are on the other side of. So anyone who is going to be on an even footing with you is going to have also come to that understanding with themselves. So now we're going to do the guided meditation portion of this reading, Cancer. And as such, we're going to be transmuting certain energies. If you look here at the Temperance card, the angel is pouring these energies back and forth. Whereas here, on the Two of Cups, we see that transmutation has taken place from the hands of the angel. You see those wings. It could be the very self-same entity, right? Blessing that partnership. Just as the waters being passed and forth, back and forth here have also been blessed. That combination, not necessarily a union, but more of an alchemical combination of the water energy of emotions with the passionate energies of the 5th house of Leo. So what we're going to do is be drawing down in a very patient fashion those energies that will lead to the emotional harmony within this partnership that will cause it to flourish and succeed. This will also serve to help you find this person and know that they are the right person for the job. So in order to do this, we are going to summon a thunderstorm. 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 So you can take some deep breaths if that helps you to visualize. And if focusing on your breathing helps you get into that receptive state. And hold. And exhale. And you can hear that as I blow out on the mic, it creates a sound very similar to distant thunder. And inhale. And hold. What does the air smell like before the rain? How does the sky look? Can you see the clouds off on the distant horizon? Exhale. Or does the entire sky look ashen gray? Or like a dark charcoal? I find that depending on where you live, the rainstorms can present very differently. If you live in a somewhat tropical area, the sky could be quite blue, but massive, massive raindrops could be falling. Sometimes in the Midwest or in the desert, the the sky will get almost as dark as night. This building tension, building energy, is in fact not the close call that we see here with the tower. But if this imagery helps you direct your mind toward that vision, I invite you to use it. The building storm clouds represent our passions, represent the push toward success, that eustress that we feel when there is something we want very much, Cancer. And I want you to feel the first little raindrops falling down on your skin, little wet spots forming on your arms, dropping into your hair or onto the top of your head, on your cheeks, on your face, refreshing, cool raindrops. That is the element of water being drawn into this equation. Perhaps you are not alone out here in the desert, or outside in the forest, wherever you are experiencing this rain. Perhaps you look over and you see your ideal partner, whether this is a business partner or a romantic partner. That is up to you. And as I mentioned before, whatever gender you are seeking. And now the thunder clouds are right overhead. And you can see thunder strikes on the hills in the distance, or the flash of thunder through the trees above. And now the raindrops are falling much more thickly now. Water is pouring out of the sky. One kind of fire can exist in this very wet environment. Oh, thank you, Kayla's lovely. Welcome back yourself. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. And that fire is lightning. And that sometimes is how manifestation comes to be. That strike of lightning hits the ground so fast, and suddenly everything is different. So you might see a couple of strikes of lightning far off in the distance. And then immediately in front of you, Cancer, is a very fast, very bright, very shocking strike of lightning. And it shifts your entire reality to your ideal existence. Just like that. And that is why this tower is not a tower of destruction, but is showing up in the reverse, because the lightning strike has brought in your manifestation. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Cancer. That is going to conclude your reading for this week. we will be moving on to the sign of Scorpio. After this video is complete, I will be going over to the member side of the channel to do some crystal scrying with this beautiful piece of bloodstone. If that interests you, you are cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is appreciated in whatever form it takes. So next we will do the sign of Scorpio. And I'm just going to shuffle your cards gently. Oh, I'm glad you think so, Maria. Glad you enjoy them. And if you would like, Scorpio, you can let rise to the front of your mind any of the things that you'd like to resolve in the reading. Go ahead and set your intention for the reading and allow those thoughts to linger gently, gently always in the front of your mind. Now, some of these things might be stressful for you to think about. So, what I would like for you to do is take some deep breaths. Imagine the divine white light of Source flooding your being from the crown of your head down through the soles of your feet into the ground below with every inhale. And then as you exhale, just sigh out any of that tension, any of that stress that you're feeling, any negative emotions that you would like to let go of at this time. Scorpio, this is a very interesting week for you, I'm sorry to say. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you like the scrying. I'm thinking about doing occasional scrying videos on the main channel again, too. I'm going to write down your timestamp, Scorpio. And we'll get into your reading. So I think most of you who are familiar with tarot are very familiar with this card. It is the Five of Pentacles. And when we see this card, Scorpio, we know that we're talking about situations of scarcity, feelings of lack, feelings of inadequacy. Now, I myself can relate to these things, Scorpio. As ashamed as I am to say that, even knowing the future doesn't mean that you can always avoid it. We have this one figure here on crutches, limping along to the best of their ability. This foot is bandaged, well, it's at least wrapped. And this foot back here must be in very bad shape indeed if this is the foot that they're favoring. Their companion seems to have bare feet and tattered garments. But these two people are together, at the very least. It looks as though the lights are on in the church behind them, and that it is possible they could go inside and warm themselves. However, sometimes there are contingencies to receiving charity from the church. And so perhaps that is why they have chosen, or perhaps they feel like it's been chosen for them, not to go inside. This card is in the upright, which lets me know, Scorpio, that you might not necessarily be feeling alone, but you most likely, if this reading resonates with you, are having feelings of not having enough. All of your cards are in the upright this week, Scorpio. All 5 of them. As I am doing a 5-card reading, followed by a guided meditation intended to transmute and help you reabsorb the energies from the reading. So the next card that we have is the Fool. And it's very interesting that we go from this very heavy card, the 5 of Pentacles, where these people are having feelings of lack. We're going from that energy into the energy of, so what if I don't have anything? At least I don't have anything to lose. I may as well just wander off a cliff. And here again, we see that this figure does have a companion. This little white dog here. So I don't know if some of you are feeling alone at this time, but you most certainly are not, Scorpio. The Fool also has this little flower in their hand, showing the purity of their spirit. And we don't know if the Fool can't see or if they just choose not to see. But they're definitely not paying attention to where they're walking. The same might be said for these figures here. Maybe they don't even notice what kind of building they are passing. So what I'm sensing very much for the lead up to this situation, Scorpio, these would be conditions which might still be persistent into the current situation, but which are establishing that action within the past. And that's why these cards are showing up in the upright instead of reversed, which would let us know that this situation had been resolved, but might still be affecting the current situation in some way. So mostly what I'm seeing here is maybe not being fully aware of what is available to oneself or what one might be headed toward, and that being an obstacle to the Pentacles, might be an obstacle to any kind of success. The sun can sometimes be a symbol of success. And because the sun is at this person's back, that is ideal for travel, but they're kind of disregarding it at the same time. So that success might be shining all around you, but you don't really see it. Moving here into the current situation. Another very strong major arcana card, which is the Justice card. Justice can be associated with the air sign of Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign. And you are fixed energy, Scorpio. I feel like the cardinal signs are truer to their nature,
whereas the fixed signs are truer to themselves. Cardinal signs are truer to the letter of the contract, the letter of the law, what has been decreed, even if that decree was written by that cardinal sign person. So the Justice card showing up in the upright here for you, Scorpio. There's going to be an equalization. There's going to be a balancing out. On one side of the scale might be your perspective, and on the other side of the scale might be the totality. So your perspectives might be coming more into line with the reality of situations at this time, Scorpio. This is in the current situation. There could be legal matters afoot. There could also be things from this situation that needed to be tied up, such as Five of Pentacles might have had to do with back rent or with other debts needing to be paid. That might have been why you were feeling lack. In the current situation, you will realize that you have the money and the resources to pay those things off. Similarly, with the Fool card, there might have been things that you had disregarded in the past. And because the Justice card is upright, I don't think these are things that are going to be biting you in the ass. But they might be things like your friend brings back something that they had borrowed a long time ago that you'd completely forgotten you had for whatever reason. And you realize that it is exactly what you needed at this time. So let's look at your future, Scorpio. Because the pendulum does swing. And I'm going to deal with both of these cards at the same time. They're a little bit, well, they're swords, and they're odd-numbered swords, right? We have the Three of Swords, and this has to do with strife, and it has to do with disagreement. We have the Seven of Swords. Somebody could be trying to get one over on you, and this might be leading to discord in your life. And of course, one thing that is good is that you will have been coming out of this situation where you have the Justice card on your side, Scorpio. This is a lot of air sign energy too. So we've got the Libra card coming out. These things could be associated with Libra energy as well. Or you might be Scorpio cusp and have a Libra rising. Have Libra also in your chart. Because I do not think that the Justice card person is going to be the same as this person who is taking the swords away, right? This person is deceitful. In fact, this is kind of the opposite of the Justice card. But one thing that might happen, which is why it could lead to strife and discord for you, maybe these two situations look very much alike. And so it is difficult to recognize this as opposed to this. There are a lot of hucksters out there at this time, Scorpio. People are always out there trying to take advantage of others, but I feel like in the particular environment we're currently occupying, that it's easier than ever for even the smartest among us to fall for schemes or tricks or scams. Be very careful about this into the future, the near future. While it can be good, the Fool card is also actually air sign energy in the major arcana. So we have a lot of air sign energy. And in fact, this person might actually be not you, Scorpio, but might be someone with whom you are dealing. And this person might be the reason that you have been feeling lack. Maybe this is an irresponsible roommate. Maybe it's a partner who doesn't manage their own resources very well, and that spills over into your life. Perhaps this person is an air sign. There's a lot of air sign energy in your reading this week, Scorpio. So take that as you will. Perhaps the air sign energy is prominent in your chart. But there might come a point in the very near future where the scales tip from this person merely being irresponsible to them outright defrauding you, and that leading to this argument. So, Scorpio, I think that what we should cover in your guided meditation today is being able to recognize and evaluate these situations purely objectively, taking it out of the realm of the emotional water sign of Scorpio and incorporating more elemental air sign energy of discernment and objectivity. So there is, of course, the weighing of the heart. In the afterlife, presided over by His Highness Osiris, and documented by Thoth, and executed by Anubis. Then, of course, the spirit is devoured, if found to be impure, by Ammit, who has the head of a crocodile, and the front legs are that of a lion or a leopard, and then the hind quarters are that of a hippopotamus. A truly ferocious beast indeed. And the feather of Mayet is what is used as the counterweight to the heart. So we are going to line up our list of suspects. Scorpio, in your mind, I want you to line up that list of suspects, because we are going to be weighing their hearts against the feather of truth. These could be people that you love very much. They could be people that you feel have taken advantage of you as well. I'm going to leave that up to you. Trust your heart to know who goes on that list. You can have up to 5 suspects. So the first person, they will all hand their hearts over willing to you, I promise. Even if in your normal everyday life you think this person might resist any attempts to have the truth come out of them in
in this particular instance, they will calmly and kindly hand over their heart to you, even if that's uncharacteristic. And the first person, you will take their heart and you walk over to the scales, and Anubis is going to instruct you to set the heart upon the pan. And then he is going to put the feather into the other pan. And you will see whether or not the pans equal out. And when the pans have balanced, Thoth is going to write down the result. You are going to return that person's heart to them, because we're not in the afterlife yet. We're just visiting. And we're going to move on to the next person. And now this second person kindly and graciously hands over their heart to you for weighing. And you carry their heart over to the scales. And Anubis gives you the signal, and you put the heart upon the pan. And Anubis puts the feather of truth, Mayit, onto the other pan. And we look to see if the scales balance. And the result is tabulated by Thoth. And then you retrieve that person's heart and give it back to them. And the next person, the same thing. You are going to take their heart, put it onto the scale, where it will be balanced by the feather of truth. The result is documented, and you give their heart back to them. And the next person, the same thing. You put it on the pan, and we weigh it against the feather. The result is tabulated, and their heart is returned to them. And now the last person, which has no bearing on whether or not their heart balances, by the way. This is just, we've done 5 different people now. Maybe you have many more. You are allowed to watch this segment as many times as you deem necessary. We weigh their heart against the feather. The result is tabulated, and their heart is returned to them. And now Thoth comes over, and he's got this gently rolled up and sealed papyrus scroll prepared for you. And all of the answers are there on that scroll. Now, I also have to point out that Thoth will have taken extra notes regarding the person's presentation, his impressions, based on objective factors, which have been proven in interrogation settings as signs that somebody is lying or that they are dishonest. He's also going to have made notes about that. And those are now available for you to view at your disposal. Maybe this will come to you in a dream tonight. Or perhaps, which I think is more likely, Scorpio, you already know. Thank you, Scorpio. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So that is going to conclude the Scorpio reading for this week. I will be going, after the conclusion of this live stream, over to the members side of the channel something that interests you. But of course, your presence here on the channel is always greatly appreciated.
So finally, we are going to address the sign of Pisces. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces.
Oh, hi Juliana. Thank you for coming. Yes, I've decided to do the live streams later in the day. To be honest with all of you, I kind of wanted to get the live stream thing down before I was doing them regularly. I wanted to make sure I could keep up with it. So I didn't want to start doing them at a time of day when everyone would be able to watch, just in case I wasn't able to keep up my end of the bargain.
But I feel a lot more confident in my routine now. So Pisces, if you would like, go ahead and allow any concerns that you have that you'd like to address in the reading, and your intentions that you have for the reading. Go ahead and allow those things to rise gently to the forefront of your thoughts and just wait there patiently to be addressed. And if these are things that cause you stress or are causing turmoil in your life, I would like to invite you to breathe through that energy. So take some deep breaths, and as you inhale, imagine the divine white light of Source is filling you from the crown of your head down through the soles of your feet into the ground below. And then as you exhale, just sigh out any of that stress or tension, and it will be returned to Source, and it will be transmuted. I always feel like I need to shuffle the Pisces cards a lot. Here we go. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Pisces, all of your cards have come out upright. I'm going to go ahead and write your timestamp here. And we can get started. So Pisces, the first card that I have for you is an excellent, excellent card. This is the Six of Wands. And as you can see, everyone is celebrating this person up here on this horse. And that, in this situation, is you, Pisces. So this is a card about resting on one's laurels. This person is not in a state of rest, but they are in a state of repose. There is a lot of mobility to this card as well. As they are riding this horse, you could imagine that they ride off into the sunset. Maybe they're headed home. Maybe they're headed off on a new adventure. But they are taking time right now to celebrate their success. This card being in the upright in the past, Pisces, at some point, you had something very much worth celebrating. And I think it's important to recognize, because this card is upright, it's not reversed. So that success has not gone away. You still maintain that success into the current situation. that success and the mobility that it has brought to you. The next card we have is also from the past, also upright. It is the Two of Swords, Pisces. Now, the Two of Swords is a card about choice. This person, however, is wearing a blindfold, willfully wearing a blindfold. We have the moon up here in the sky. So not only are they blinding themselves with this blindfold, but it is very dark. And you can see the water is a bit choppy, not outright turbulent seas, but enough surf that one could easily be carried away by the water or taken under against one's better swimming skills, just by merit of the fact the water's a bit choppy. We see, I really love the holographic elements on these cards because it does show that there could be undercurrents and undertow at play out here in the ocean. We're not quite sure what kind of structure this is, too, that this person is sitting on. There's some kind of chair or throne or bench here, but there's no railing guarding this cliff. It's very smooth, very much like a man-made surface. A polished floor of some kind, possibly. Accounting for modern technology, this could be a very large bay window that this figure is sitting in front of, such that they would be completely separated from that backdrop scene. So there might be aspects to this choice that are like that. You might find yourself pressed against a plate of glass. You might find that you have a sword in each hand. You need to put one of them down to take off the blindfold, but you're not sure which one. They seem like they're both pretty good swords. And that kind of is the deal with the Two of Swords, that both seem like they could be really good options. And so it's very difficult to choose one over the other, Pisces. And especially for a mutable water sign such as yourself, who would want to keep as many possibilities open as one could. And it looks like you have done that. So this isn't the Four of Cups, it's the Two of Swords. The Four of Cups would be a handful of options, but those two options might be a direct result of this victory that we see with the Six of Wands. Coming into the current situation, Pisces, it is your card from the Major Arcana. You are showing up loud and clear in your own reading. It is the Moon card. And of course, the Moon card, there's a lot of the things that I was talking about here. The choppy waters. Things aren't very brightly illuminated. They're only illuminated by the reflected and inconstant light of the moon. Shellfish often shed during the new moon cycle for that reason, that it's very dark and they're less likely to be eaten by predators. It's much easier for them to hide. We have the wild dog and the tame. We have these two columns in the back, recalling also the duality is a repeated motif in the tarot. If you look at the death card, these very same columns are very far off in the distance. But here, we're getting much closer. The moon card always reminds me of that scene from Neverending Story with the sphinxes who shoot lasers. And that is the current situation you're going through at this time, Pisces. So there might be a few things that are unclear. One of which I think is this binary choice. It's a choice between two pretty good things, pretty good options, probably based on that victory. We have a couple of 10s in the future. And both of these cards are in the upright. This could have to do with your choices as well. So the first card in the future is the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands is about burdens. Can be about oppression, can also be about responsibilities. So perhaps you do have more mobility with this 6 of Wands victory. But that because of that victory, you've also attained a very tricky situation in which you have outstripped your capabilities to carry all of these responsibilities. Now, the 10 is the end of a cycle. So it will end. It does not perpetuate forever. And what comes after that is the 10 of Pentacles, which is generational wealth. This is the kind of victory, the kind of legacy that can be passed down to future generations. And that is what is going on here on this card. We have this older gentleman. He has these 2 dog companions. And we see his family here in the foreground. Now, they have not utterly forgotten him, but they are concerned with their own affairs. He is retired, and he has time to relax and enjoy the fruits of a lifetime. And here even we see this symbolism where he's petting the one dog and the child has their hand on the tail of the other dog, connecting them across generations and showing that eventually all of this will belong to this boy. As I mentioned on the Fool card in the Scorpio reading, the white dogs are symbols of loyalty. So there is a certain amount of loyalty that this older person has to the younger generation, and in return, that loyalty is reciprocated back to the older generation. And of course, I point this out not every time, but occasionally, that the pentacles are laid out here on this card, similarly to the Sephiroth on the Tree of Life. But I think it's very important to recognize that it's good to not conflate
Golden Dawn ideas of Kabbalah with traditional Kabbalah itself.
Because the Golden Dawn Kabbalah is very small compared to the big picture. So, Pisces, what I see here for you is that this period of things being unclear and uncertainty might bring burdens for you in the future. This might be things that you set up during this time end up burdening you later, and you have to shed some of those burdens. It's going to be different for each of you. This is a general reading. The outcome is going to be that there is generational wealth there for you. But there might be things in the meantime, whether this is debt or whether it is taking on too many hours of overtime because you feel like that's necessary to get through this uncertain period. If you are a freelancer, you might be taking on too many jobs at once. This could also be, if things are unclear, you might be overpromising to your family members. Not necessarily like you feel like you owe them certain things, but because they know of your success and you want to be able to share this with the people that you love. And that can be not just money as a resource, but also your time and your energy, overcommitting those things to other people. So I'm actually going to use, in your reading, Pisces, I think, some light triggers. Because we have your card, the moon, coming out. It's not very well illuminated. So, is this going to be a bright enough light? That should be bright enough. I have a brighter flashlight and I also have a laser pointer, but I think I'm going to use this one today. So there's one choice that's a binary choice for you to make. And we do see aspects of that binary choice here on the moon card, right? Aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go ape shit? And these two towers in the background. There's another choice too, which is more like a series of choices. It has to do with this 10 of Wands. And each one of these staves the person carries is a choice that they have taken upon themselves along the way. Now, it's likely that either one of these binary choices here with the Two of Swords could lead you to overburdening yourself. Because remember, the Two of Swords shows two options, which for all intents and purposes are fairly evenly weighted. So I'm just going to get right up in your face and we're going to illuminate some of these options. And this is going to be the pros over here. And then this is going to be the cons over here. Okay, Pisces. And this is going to clarify it
for you. When I shine the light over on the pros side, you have to immediately think of one thing that is going to be an advantage in the particular situation. So the pros side, for one, is going to end up being the cons side for the other. We have the two choices here, right? So you can think about both of those choices at once. And just think about the cons side for one being the pros side of the other. Okay? So we're going to take some deep breaths. And then I'm going to count backwards from 3. And then we're going to begin that part. So I want you to inhale. And hold. And exhale. And inhale. And hold. And exhale. And now if you're ready, 3, 2, 1. You have to decide if that's really a con or if just, be able to discern what things might seem like a con but might actually be beneficial to you in the way that you do things, Pisces. You might be a very non-standard thinker, so just keep that in mind. Especially when things drop down from the ceiling like that. Being startled by something can lead you to believe that it would be a disadvantage. But sometimes a weapon dropping from the ceiling helps you with your self-defense in a situation. And then we're going to talk about some of these things that are kind of neither here nor there and could apply to both of them, right? But I think when it comes right down to it, you will know in your heart which one of these things will be right for you. This flashlight has different filters on it. So there's a red filter, there's green, there's blue, and there's white. Pisces, that is going to conclude your reading for this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you who tuned in live for the water signs reading. I do think this is a much better time of day to do them. I will be going over to the members side of the channel now to do the crystal scrying as an extended forecast. If that is of interest to you, you are cordially invited. But your participation on the channel, in whatever form it takes, is greatly appreciated. Thank you for coming, Juliana. So good to see you guys again. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.